Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Pastor Troy, girl, Pastor Trina, as we get ready for our Born to Lead Momentum Moment. Really excited about what we're going to talk about today. Um, really excited about you and your future and what's happening in your life. So uh, let's jump right into it. Let's get right to it today. Really excited about talking to you. Let's get this music off and we can jump right into this today for our Born to Lead Momentum Moment. Pastor Trina and I are here live at B2L headquarters. Excited to talk to you today. Pastor Trina, you just want to kind of kick this conversation off and let's talk a little bit about some of the experience we had yesterday and why we decided to go live today.
Yes. Hey guys, how are you? So excited to be with you during lunch. We're coming here today to talk to you about an experience we had on yesterday, and we believe that we can grab some nuggets from it. Yesterday we went to what is called the Student Support Day at my choice, my son's college, Pierce College, and it was just amazing because the atmosphere was one of a winning atmosphere, positive atmosphere, and it was almost like everybody in the room wanted everybody to win.
Shout out to Year Up
Yes.
at Pierce College, Mr. Hassan and your staff. You were par excellent yesterday, level of professionalism that we see on our son and on the young people in that room. We're just really thankful that he's a part of the Year Up program. And if you got a kid that's in between trying to figure out what they're going to do for college or whatever, Year Up might be something for them. So go look them up. Year Up Philly, coming out of Pierce College, down on, what's that, like 14 something Pine Street. Yeah, 14 Pine. So, yeah, so I'm sorry.
That's all right. It was just amazing. We went in, and even up to the point, Troy just kept saying, you know, what's happening in 2 days? What's happening in 3 days? And he was like, and I'm looking at him like, I know what he's talking about, but I'm just like, I've never seen him that excited. And he's like, student support day. And I'm like, okay, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. And I recognized that that was something they were
prepping them.
and
Yeah.
prepping them,
They were prepping
for
for it.
weeks. To be excited about it, and the room was so charged.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was so charged. Every staff member, every
I feel like I want to join Year Up.
yes, like, honestly, like the motivation was there. Like every person that was on the team was on the team. It wasn't like they were there like I'm just here so I won't.
Say it again. Every person that was
Every person that was on the team was on the team.
on the team.
It wasn't like they were there like I'm just here so I can get fined. They literally were excited. They bought into the dream. They bought into the vision. They were prepared to take part in what needed to happen for these kids. They're receiving so many different kids from different walks of life, and it was just amazing to see so many people, especially when you have good teachers, bad teachers, you have them all, and I love the teachers because they're amazing because they're working with our kids.
Yeah.
And we love them for who they are because they are connected to us, but they're taking the opportunity to put some stuff in our kids that sometimes we don't get a chance to do because maybe we're working, maybe because of our family situation, we are not able to touch them as much as we want to. So the teachers are really shaping and molding them, and sometimes
They have them longer.
Yes, they have them longer. They have them probably the most time of day because when they get home after they eat, clean up or whatever, they're going to sleep. So I think the greatest thing is that they're dealing with a whole bunch of kids, different attitudes, personalities, and they really have to be all things to all of the children that are in the room, and to see all the staff, all the teachers just be like, we're here to make sure that your children are successful was amazing.
And you said something that was really important, and I think you need to hear this too, because I think as adults, as people in the business world, as employees or CEOs or small business owners or even working at a nonprofit, we take for granted that people have honed the skills that are necessary to survive. And they kept using these words, and I want to make sure I say it, soft skills versus, was it hard skills?
Yeah.
People get the hard skills. They go to college for the hard skills. They go to college to learn how to do the IT work. They go to college to learn how to deal with people in psychology and the brain and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to relating to people and handling people and working within a team atmosphere, they don't get those skills.
Absolutely.
And yesterday you were talking about like seeing how surprisingly our kids, and I think also technology has something to do with that, being on our phones, all that, the interaction, the interpersonal skills that are necessary are just lacking, and I think you have people that are working with you right now that don't know how to communicate, they can't talk to you, they get frustrated when they have to work in a team environment, and we want to make sure today that we kind of talk to about how to be better and take some of the takeaways that we had from that meeting to kind of just develop some thoughts around how you can get better in those areas.
Absolutely. I mean, because I was surprised at the level of, these are college students and all ages, as long as they were between 18 and 24 is what I think it is.
18, 24.
To hear, they kept asking, like, what kind of support do they need from their family structure, and to hear some of the young adults say, to be able to wake up on time. I need my parents to help me wake up. I need them to help me get here on time. I need them to help me with my homework, like make sure I get it done, like finish my assignments. And I'm thinking to myself, like, at this age, you should be more independent and self-sufficient. And that's my thought. But you realize that
people aren't doing it.
People aren't doing it.
Think about even in the church setting, when we have certain things that we have from staff to just, partners, being on time is a big deal.
Absolutely.
You can't really start things until all the team is in place.
Right.
The media team needs to be in place. The ushers and greeters need to be in place. The band needs to be in place. The praise and worship team needs to be in place. And when you have people kind of just trekking in, I'll get there when I get there, you realize that those things, if it's happening in church, it's spilling over in their life.
Absolutely.
So we train to that, not just training to the spiritual side of things, but we also train to the practical side of operating in excellence. Do we always get 100% of excellence? No. If we get a good 85 to 90% of excellence, we're excited about that. You want to get to 100%, but Troy's being trained now in that program on how to do that. And we realize that there are adults who are struggling with bouncing the checkbook, being on time, passing in projects properly. Like you asked some of the ladies to do, what is the Unstuck program. You couldn't get the emails back. I mean, talk about, we talking about you. We couldn't get the emails back,
Or changing the assignments. Like, they gave me what they thought their interpretation of it was, and I gave them back, again, clarification on what I was asking for. And, they just still struggle in some of those areas. Some of it was just like, I got my life, I got my children, I got things going on. I'll get around to it when I get around to it. Or almost like, rather than not give you anything, I'm just going to give you this. When if they probably didn't have those things in their lives, they probably would have did a better job with it. But it all breaks down to how many other areas in their lives are they kind of just like skating through.
Which leads to being stuck. Which leads to being stuck. So I just want to kind of drop this in. Teamwork is important.
Absolutely.
Teamwork is important. One of the things that really hit us last night as we were kind of just talking, we saw the picture of Nipsey Hussle, the young man who just passed away, the rapper from L.A.
Yes.
And we saw a group picture, and his murderer is in the picture. Posture, arms folded, just looking disgruntled in the midst of the picture. And you wonder sometimes the team is sabotaged because there's somebody there that's in that group that may not measure up, hasn't measured up, and they're looking at the stellar star or the other people around the stellar star and want to aspire to do that, but don't want to do the work to get to that point. I remember Kevin Hart, he was like, everybody wants the spotlight, nobody wants to do the work. Everybody wants the spotlight, nobody wants to do the work. And it's important that, we do the work. Whatever it takes to get to that place, becoming in a sustaining environment, learn how to get a regiment and a discipline to be able to be in the winner's circle on a regular basis.
Absolutely. I think I put it on my page in reference to that. Body language speaks volumes, and people don't realize that. And that's one of the things that they were teaching them down there. Like, when you're going for jobs, when you're going to different things, your body language, it's not just what you say.
Speak up, project to make sure they can hear you.
Absolutely. It's not just what you say, it's what you do, it's how you act, it's your attitude, it's your, those motions and everything that you involve with it. People read into that, So when I looked at that picture on my page, I literally saw, and I was like, we don't pay attention to the signs. There are people that are in our circle, in our camp, that really don't want to be there. And we need to find out where they need to be so they can move on and do the things that they need to do instead of sitting there getting jealous, being impacted by the enemy. And then before you know it, they're doing it at two Brutus. They're coming and slitting our throat because they weren't ready to do what they needed to do to make themselves successful. And like when you look at the picture, the first thing that jumped out to me was he was the only one with the posture of being disgruntled. He was the only one with his arms, folded. You need to watch out for people. They're the only ones that, are not in a place of celebratory moment. We're excited about what's going on. Everybody taking a picture. You know, some people got the peace sign. Some people are hugging each other. You just can see everybody being excited. He's the only one.
He had a closed-in posture.
Closed-in posture. Like
Yeah.
I'm by myself. It's about me. He had a face of, I'm frustrated. You know, you even said he looked like he pouting, you know. So you got watch those people that when they standing around to the side and they pouting, you know, it might be in their mind that I could do the same thing. I could do the same thing. And I didn't see that in the room. I saw, you know, a teamwork throughout, even the students that were there. They were excited about helping each other, giving each other the answers to different things, you know, as they were having little games and stuff. It wasn't just about I need to win. It's like we all got to win.
I need to shine. So let me just put the scripture on the screen. It's Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. It says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth. For he hath not another to help him up. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, 2 shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Man, it's important to have teamwork.
Absolutely.
You know, it's important to lift each other up. It's important to want to see somebody else win. It's important to have that level of support where if you don't have all the skills that are necessary, you find somebody who has the skills, and the 2 of you become one and take the assignment by force. So it's very important that we start having our mindset about, you know, teamwork. So winning atmosphere. Yesterday, we know one of the things that's important about a winning atmosphere is training.
Absolutely.
So you were saying something that I think is very important because people miss this. Troy has been preaching since he was 10. So as far as standing in front of a group, speaking, those kind of things, he's very comfortable with that. So when he got into certain classes, he would literally have to humble himself so that he could get the other information he doesn't have.
Absolutely.
Talk about, you know, you're the relationship specialist. You've dealt with people. Some people, they just think they know everything, so they miss everything. You know, I've been in rooms where people will talk about, you know, what you need to do for your ministry is you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. I'm already doing those things. I don't open my mouth. I sit there, I listen, because there may say something in that list of things they're telling me to do that I don't do, that I want to capture.
Absolutely. I first want to say, hey, Apostle Thompson, thank you so much. He said that people want the platform, but they don't want to do the work. He
You
said,
better
shout out to
believe
you. And he also talked about people being amiss and being disgruntled. And then Minister Angie Burnett talked about the teamwork does matter. So thank you so much. We might not be able to get to all the comments, but we are very
definitely
thankful for you guys.
Love you guys too.
Love you guys so very much. But as you were saying, yes, you know, you have to humble yourself in certain environments because, you know, as Troy, like you said, you know, he's been speaking in front of people. The first few weeks they were dealing with, you know, being able to speak in front of an audience, being able to talk and command the room, being able to do things that he's been doing for a very long time and doing very well, you know, almost like a seasoned elder, you know, being able to do those things.
Right.
And he had to humble himself, you know, and for him, it was just natural. He likes to see people win. He likes to motivate other people. So he likes to, you know, help other people get what's going on. But, you know, you'll have people that'll sit there being like, well, I should be doing that. Well, why does he get chosen? Or why can't I do that? If they only knew about my skills. No, it's not your time to shine. It's your time to learn something. And like you said, you never know what you miss because you open your mouth too soon. That person wants to pour into you. So sometimes you got to eat what you already know and sit there and receive things that you could probably do better than what they're saying to get all the information. And we miss golden opportunities, golden moments because we cannot sit still and humble ourselves to learn. You don't know what you don't know.
Don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely. That was one of the things when we were going through real estate and dealing with property stuff. You know, one of our mentors and one of the trainers was talking about you don't know what you don't know. So you think you're at a certain level, but there's so many other people, so many other things that you need to learn, and we don't get it because we can't humble ourselves. So I was just excited to see him in an environment where, you know, Troy could have went straight to college. You know, he had the grades. He has the mental capacity to get things done. You know, he took a year off. He had some medical issues in school, in high school, and he decided, I want a year off. And he found out about this program. He did the research.
He did all on his own.
He did all of it on his own. And, you know, he could have, when he was talking to those people, be like, you know what, this is not for me. But there's so much more. You know, he's very sociable. There's different things in this program, but sometimes you got to be okay with going into something that you think you're a pro at, a star at. So that guess what? God sometimes will let that be your opportunity to get
in front of the right people.
Be in front of the right people for something that will blow your mind, something you never expected. Because guess what? This is your lane. This is what you can do. You know, we're so busy want to show people, I got goods, I can make it happen, instead of just sitting there and letting your gift make room for
And the
it.
other thing too is, he had interpersonal skills and all that kind of stuff, but he didn't know how to run an access table.
No.
He didn't know how to run the keynote and the PowerPoints and all that. He wasn't really familiar with how to make tables and flow charts and all that kind of stuff. And now he's sitting in rooms.
And all the business stuff that's coming down the line that he doesn't even know he's going to get.
Yep.
You know, that stuff, and sometimes you can think, well, I'm a quick learner, I can learn this stuff when I get on the job. And I believe he would. I have no doubt that if he did not get certain trainings on this job, that he could go to a corporate job and they train him and he would do well. But just like one of the instructors said, or staff member said, like, you may not even be able to get your foot in the door because some things are just about networking, having the connection or the favor of the organization you're connected to.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other part of that too is knowing that there's going to come opportunities like down the line where everything's a stepping stone to the next thing. Absolutely. So the things he's being trained on now, being prepared for now, actually set him up for his Six Sigma training and all that kind of stuff. Stuff that he don't even know is out there. You know, he can become a Six Sigma black belt or green belt or whatever case may be. You know, so like he's like Six Sigma. I'm like, yeah, well you'll find that out later on down the line. You know, project management work and all that kind of stuff. And it's like we miss it because we do not humble ourselves and put ourselves in a position to say, I want to learn as much as I can, and I'm willing, in his case, sometimes to get paid less.
That's what I was going to say. You said it.
Because he left a good job,
a good paying job,
to go into this program and so that he could be better at the next level. And some people, listen, it's not until preparation meets opportunity that success happens. Let me say it again. It's not until preparation meets opportunity that success happens. You have to prepare for the opportunity. So when it shows up, you're not trying to run around trying to get all the skills. You already have them. And then success can just kind of flow to you. And a lot of times, in order to get to that next level of success, like people want to do real estate right away. They see people like Naeem Davis, and they see us pastoring our churches, and they see people like Kevin Hart doing comedy. You know Kevin Hart, your roommate is Kevin Hart's cousin. And she was saying that he was bombing in the beginning. You know, but he got under the right people. He did comedy clubs for free. He put the time in. You know, everybody want to get paid up front, but nobody want to do the work. Everybody wants to be the shining star and in the spotlight, but nobody wants to put in the time of preparation that it takes to get there. We are, in pastoring, a 17-year overnight success. Like, it looks like overnight success. It took 17 years to get to this point, and we're still learning from the best.
Absolutely.
We've paid.
And we served even before then. That was all training for Raymond. And I think sometimes people don't take advantage or look at the blessing of being trained. They're ready for the prophetic moment or what the glimpse that God gave them in their life about who they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. And it's like, just like David. What would David be if he was like, well, I'm supposed to be ruling over all, and here I'm on the backside tending my father's sheep? Or even to the aspect of, okay, I'm in this cave dealing with these disgruntled people, but I'm supposed to be king over all. You have to go through the process. That allows you to get connected and understand and be able to know who you are in God, you know?
And I think it's important. I'm going to go to the next scripture put on the screen. It says, but seeing the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Christ, for whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. I think one of the things that we really need to capture as well is that we got to work together, you know, and somebody got to submit to somebody.
Absolutely.
You know, if I'm going to learn, I got to get up under a mentor. I got to submit to a vision. The word submission means to get under a vision or submit to a vision. And once a vision is clearly kind of proposed and put out there, you got to get up under it and you got to work it. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of times people look at the league and like I always say to you, I'm like, man, you want to be a pastor. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know if you understand the level of assignment you're taking on, and that the hours are long. You know, employee mindsets is like I want to work from 8 to 5.
Right.
CEOs and owners know that this is an all-day process.
All time.
That the phone rings, I got to be where I need to be at all times. If somebody needs to go to the hospital or we got to get up. Last night, I got a call at 2 in the morning from somebody who just needed to talk.
Right.
And as a shepherd, you think it's just preaching? That ain't. It's all day long. It's way beyond just preaching. It's being able to manage people. It's being able to manage yourself, manage your schedule, still run your household, you know. And we're constantly as a team working together trying to get better. You know, I think training is important. Training is important. Training is important. I was getting ready to say, we've spent a lot of money flying out to go to Project Gideon for Bishop Jakes. You know, going over to Bethany under Bishop Evans to learn what we need to learn. Reading Dr. Grillo's book, buying tons of Dr. Grillo's books so we can learn. Flying down to observe, going down to Bishop Ivy Hilliard's to observe and see how things go. You know, in order to be trained, you got to sit in the background for a while.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to be in the front. You know, Bishop Jake said the power of a mentor is to polish you in the dark. So when you get to the showroom floor and all your blemishes show up, or they won't show up when you get to the showroom floor because you've been polished so well that even though you had scratches, the polishing has removed everything out of the way so that you can shine when you finally get there. Some of us are getting to the spotlight with blemishes. And we lose the luster and the opportunity that's in front of us because we wouldn't let anybody abrasively polish us. I'm not talking about abuse.
Right.
I'm talking about the way your clothes get clean. I know you don't call it this, you just call it a washing machine, but inside the washing machine is a thing called an agitator. And that agitator is messing with your clothes so that the dirt, the ground and grime that's in there can be dispersed. You know, Troy's in a place where he's being agitated to greatness. Sometimes you're being agitated to greatness. Here's the second thing. They talk about feedback, and positive feedback, and how to handle positive feedback. Talk about that a little bit.
They talked about positive feedback and also receiving and giving. And it was just amazing that they were instructing the kids to know that feedback is not a bad thing. I think so many times when we deal in, even dealing in church and dealing with people and training and mentoring and coaching people look at feedback as like a punishment or I did something wrong. You know, so they were just talking to them about, you know, you want the feedback so that you can get better. You want to have people see insight that you don't see because you're doing the actions. You know, how do you give feedback? How do you make sure that you're not sandwiching it in and they miss the whole point of it?
We say sandwiching it in.
It's like you talk about the good stuff they did, and then you hurry up and talk about the little, the things that they need to strengthen, and then you sandwich it with stuff they did good. So they just miss what they need to correct or fix. They talked about, so that sandwiching, they don't really hear it because it's in the middle. Being able to tell them you want to give them something positive, but then you need to deal with things that they need to correct. And you don't say but, or, you know, this was a horrible thing, or just go in on them. But you talk about, you know, which we always do, challenging areas, things that you need to strengthen, suggestions, like I give a suggestion or I encourage you to do, those type of things where it doesn't seem like it's a negative thing. Because people as adults, you know, they're always trying to, as children, prove I'm doing things right, I'm a good person, I'm this, I'm that. And maybe they never got any positive affirmations or positive reinforcement. So when they get into the workforce, they're so busy being a young adult, being that young child still in an adult's body, that when they get to the workforce, it's like, don't tell me I did anything wrong. You know, I don't want to get fired. You know, I don't want to lose my job, so that they can't receive the feedback that they need to become better. So I was just really excited that, you know, he's always been one that would take information, but, you know, understanding that you can't talk to everybody the same way. They're learning different mindsets and perspectives of people, behaviors of people, what works well on this person. And people don't learn that like they used to in school or interaction, like you said, because
or in the home.
Or in the home, because technology and just
broken homes, broken families. You know, they're not seeing
issues.
mothers and fathers talk to each other. They're not seeing budgeting meetings. They're not seeing you know, the things that Troy sees in the house. You know, and I think the other thing is when it comes to feedback is like Troy's learning. I've been where you are, so my job is not to prohibit you or restrain you.
Right.
My job is to make sure that you don't have to go down the path that I went down.
Absolutely.
You know, so some people just really, I think they believe like, I got to go through this to learn.
Right.
No, you don't. You know, and especially from a pastoral standpoint, like when you're talking to young pastors or trying to get young pastors to do certain things, they feel like I got to do this, I got to do that. You know, and it's like,
You don't understand, because I know my kids always say, that was back in the day. They felt like it's this big generational gap that.
the Bible says
like,
there's
it's
nothing new
different.
under the sun.
Right. It's
Everything
different.
that was is also happening today, and everything that's happening today was already. So, I mean, I think that, is there a new formula for it? You know, like right now, the millennial church, and I'm gonna use the millennial church, oh, that's old stuff, you ain't doing no more. You know, I heard Bishop Evans and Pastor, oh God, that's escaping me, Pastor Nick, Pastor Nicholas Smith. He said that when Elizabeth was ready to deliver, that God sent her. I mean, when Mary was ready to deliver, God sent her to Elizabeth, who was ahead of her. You know, and I believe that there's dreams and there's visions, and we need each other.
Absolutely.
You know, we need to be able to impart information, but we also need to gain information so that we can become better in the generation that we're in. You know, I'll be 47 this year. So the mindset is, yeah, I'm still kind of young and I try to act hip or whatever, but there's a lot I don't know. You know, so I'm always tapping into Troy and Trinae. That's how I knew who Nipsey Hussle was.
Absolutely.
You know, because I'm always asking questions, what's the latest music? What's this? What's that? And trying to learn from them. You know, and then I asked them, how was my sermon today? You know, was you connecting with it? Did you really feel it or not? You know, and I'm okay with feedback.
Absolutely.
You know, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, I think that what people need to say is if you're going to give it raw, then you got to be able to take it raw.
Say that again.
If you're going to give it, like if you're going to come and give me feedback and you're going to give it to me right off the cuff and you just want to be straight up and down with it, when it comes your time to receive, don't look at it as malice or look at it as get back. You know, it's truth.
Absolutely.
You know, as a matter of fact, I think I got a scripture here for that. I think it's one of these. Let me see. Yes. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Let's look at the next one. It says, brothers, do not be children in your thinking. Be infants in evil, but in your thinking, be mature. And I think, you know, when it comes down to us talking about each other, giving each other feedback, and being on teams where we can really do that, they say, is anybody saying anything? I don't want to miss nothing. Okay.
That's good. That's good.
The mindset is that we have to have tough conversations. I know I do. You know, Pastor Trina and I, as pastors for a long time, we've had to take people, we had called the Burgundy Room experience. And we've cut down a lot of the foolishness in our church because we deal with conflict. If two people in our church got an issue, we ain't gonna have that whisper down the lane going for months. I don't like her. You know, all these different groups get together. No. Once we get it, we pull them in the room, put them face to face. Why don't you like her? What did she do to you? And then you find out sometimes then nothing happened. You know, it's just social skills that people did not develop over a period of time.
Say that.
Have put them in. She looked at me wrong. What? She might like your dress. She might like your shoes. You know, like that's high school stuff. I'm talking about 50, 60-year-old people. That's high school stuff. And it's like, you got to get people in the room. You got to discuss stuff so you can squash issues, squash circumstances, so that you can put people back into the team concept and the team mindset. You know, and you have to have people articulate their feelings. Because you got some people who are introverts. I just did and it's important for us to do this too, even in the church. I just did a Myers-Briggs test, personality test. And it was talking about me being intuitive and being an extrovert and not being confined by walls and having certain type of mindsets when it comes to looking at new ideas, looking at new ways of doing things. You know, I'm very cerebral, but I'm open to newness. You know, sometimes you need to take them evaluations.
Right. Find out about yourself.
Find out about yourself. See if those things hold true. You know, and the people that are above me, and this is why you need 3 levels in your life. You need somebody to coach you. You need a contemporary and somebody you coach. Right. Because all those things keep you sharp. Let me say it again. You need somebody to coach you or cover you. You need a contemporary, and then you need somebody to coach yourself. Because the person above you is going to look at you and tell you where you're not at. The person that's with you is going to tell you pretty much whether you're on point or if you're missing. And the person that you're coaching is going to constantly be asking you questions that make you go back and check yourself to see if you're a sharp you are as sharp as you think you are.
Absolutely.
So feedback is important. And then lastly, celebration. Celebration. Pastor, talk about the atmosphere of celebration that was going on yesterday.
There's such atmosphere of celebration. Like, they want the kids to succeed so much. You could just feel it in their heart. Their heart was on the floor. And I think a lot of times we lose heart because, you know, we can't leave life at the door. Like, when we show up to something, you know, and we're all going through things, we bring that into the organization. We bring that into whatever we're dealing with. And you could tell, like, you know, if somebody was dealing with something, you had no idea because they were there to celebrate the success of those kids.
I'm sure they had life issues going on, and they just didn't.
Because at the end, the one guy said, "It's been a long day. I'm
just
home.
tired." Right.
I'm just tired, but you did not know that the whole time. He was just involved. He was talking. They were all excited. It just was so much energy. Like Pastor Troy said, I'm ready to do Europe. Like, how can I get involved? How can I mentor? How can I coach? Like, because it was just, everybody was so passionate about the success of these young people. And, to find out that some of these kids are dealing with real life issues. Some of them are leaving jobs, don't want to be stretched at the next level. They got kids they got to take care of, and they're taking a leap of faith, saying, hey, if these people believe in me, I have to at least perform. I have to at least do something.
And
different.
the one kid, because he was dressing up in a suit and he was looking professional. In his hood, they was like, "You a op? You working with the feds?
Right.
You a rat."
That was his real.
But that was his real life situation. Like, so he was changing at the school, putting his jacket and stuff on at the school. Because
he didn't want trouble in his environment.
He didn't want trouble in his environment. So imagine when you get to that place, if the person that's supposed to be greeting you is down that day, or have an attitude that day, or they struggling at home and they can't put the face on that's necessary to do the job that's in front of them. Especially when you put in a place of power and leadership. When people come to that place with problems, that's why you always gotta have your own outlet. You gotta have somebody covering you.
Absolutely.
So you can go to them and talk to them.
Absolutely.
But when people come to the church, when people come to your business, when people show up at your establishment, they're expecting you to greet them with customer service. Because your wife pissed you off last night doesn't mean you're gonna mess up bringing me my steak and then bringing me my drink and making sure my glass stay full. You know what I'm saying? And then have the audacity to expect a tip for bad service. We gotta understand that when people get in our presence, celebration is important. Making sure that we find something good, something to be happy about, something to be positive about once we get into that team environment. Especially in our case, over the last couple of weeks, we've had people come to church that their life was in the balance. What if the usher would have jacked up their initial greeting?
Right.
What if the person sitting next to them would have treated them nasty? They might not have heard the word I was going to preach. They might have decided God ain't for me, So I just think that we got to really look at how we treat people as far as wanting other people to win.
Absolutely.
Wanting other people to win. I got these quotes up here. One says, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." Helen Keller. "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." Michael Jordan. Let me read that again. "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. Booker T. Washington. There's a lot of talented and gifted people out there, but they're islands to themselves. And you look at somebody like Jay-Z, you look at somebody like Beyonce, you look at somebody like LeBron James, you look at somebody like Bishop Jakes. Bishop Jakes always says, "I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I surround myself with people. I submit my vision to them, and then I submit to their abilities and their gifts and talents." So, I think that we really have to work on being trained to accepting feedback and input, and then lastly, learning how to celebrate other people and lifting other people up. Because if I do something unto somebody else, it's ultimately going to be done unto me. Pastor, you got any closing thoughts?
We have to really realize it's not about us. It's not always about us. And I think sometimes we get so caught in our own worlds and what we're dealing with, we can't be effective to those that are coming to us. Customer service is big. I don't care where you work at, where you are, what you do. There should be a level of service that's on our hearts and our minds for people. If you're working for somebody else, you would want those people that work for you to make sure that they represent well. So we have to always have a mind of service to be able to say, when that person comes in here, I want them to have the best experience they could possibly have, because guess what? I want to receive the same thing when I go to the next establishment or venture.
And the thing about it was that I definitely want to close out with this as we let you go back after your lunchtime. What I loved about the year program, what I loved about what I saw yesterday was the diversity of cultures and stuff. And I'm a pastor and I'm a Christian, but I'm going to treat my Muslim brothers and sisters with love and respect. You know, I'm going to, if they're Buddhist, I'm going to treat them with love and respect. If they're of my heterosexual content, or if they're of a homosexual content, doesn't really matter to me. I'm supposed to love everybody that comes across my place and show the love of Christ in every area. Right. But beyond that, just be good to people.
Absolutely.
You know, I think when you do the right things toward people, people do the right things towards you. You know, and to see Jason walked over and was like, Troy's amazing. You know, as an Asian guy that's in his class, he was like, Troy's amazing. And they have somewhat of a competitive nature with each other to try to make each other better. And the diversity in the room, from religion to race to, it was just really important to see I'm excited about our young people.
Yes.
I'm excited about their future, and that, you know, we read about people getting shot and killed and people not doing the right things, but there's about 45 kids last night, 45 young people, young adults who I believe are going to...
Across America is like 4,500 or something like that.
Yeah, like 4,500 for Europe across the country.
I might be saying the wrong numbers. I don't want to quote.
This is cohort number 12 in Philly.
In Philly, but I know it was at least 4,500. It might have been, you know, more than that. But they were saying in this year, so it's not just, you know, in
Philly, Boston. It originated in Boston.
And just they see that we have to invest in our young people, because a lot of times that's the struggle that when we get to work and we're looking at people and we're saying, why do they act like that? Or why does she act like that?
Right.
Or why does she, you know, behave like that?
Right.
A lot of times people just weren't taught. They weren't developed. They weren't around, like we talked about on Tuesday. They didn't have good role models. You know, things that they saw, you know, we look at TV, it's trash. You know, so what is this generation really looking to as hope and motivation? You know, so we have to take the time to invest in them. We have to take the time to fix us, because there's some things that we need to fix within ourselves to be able to communicate, to work with others, to be team players. You know, do we take feedback well? Are we okay with it? Do we want to get better? Are we okay with training? Do we humble ourselves? You know, are we in a place where we're a team player? You know, do we celebrate other people? If you're sitting there and somebody has something going on and you
disgruntled with attitude,
disgruntled, or you halfway happy, or you saying, well, what about me? My first thing coming to your mind is, well, when's my time going to come? You need to check those feelings, those emotions, because we need to be able to become better people so that we can invest in our generation so they could be the future.
Hopefully you got something out of this Born to Lead motivational moment today. Most of all, you need to look at this because maybe you didn't get it as a child. Maybe you didn't get it in your household. Maybe you didn't get it in school. They definitely didn't really prep all the ways in college for this kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, what are you going to do to get the skills you need to be able to be a valuable team member today? What book are you going to go read? What mentor are you going to go find? What program are you going to become a part of so that you can be a better teammate to somebody else? When you lift somebody else up, you can also be lifted up yourself. When you humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, in due season, he'll exalt you. He'll bring you higher. He'll promote you. And if you want to be a leader, then you got to automatically know how to be a follower. A good follower will become a good leader. Because a person that's calling themselves a leader but walking by themselves is just all taking a walk. They're not leading nobody else. So thank y'all for listening today. God bless y'all. Have a great day on purpose. You are born to lead.
Yes, I'm also telling whatever you need, give us a call. We'll definitely be there to do any type of training you need. We love you so very much. We thank you, man of God. You're an awesome dude.
Yes.
In your church, in your ministry, and everything that's connected to you. We love you so very much. So again, I just want to say, go back to lunch, go back to work, whatever you need to do.
Don't let's get you in trouble.
Right. Thank you for tuning in.
Peace.